So I got a question the other day. It was, you talk a lot about power and not giving it away. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that? And I would love to, because especially with what's going on right now, personal power is mission critical for how we can perceive our reality around us. When I say personal power, what I mean is it's an ability to take ownership of our outside reality as an expression of what's going on internally. What we've been programmed to do throughout history is effectively to give that power away, meaning we have taken outside voices and internalized those voices as our own voice, whether that's our parents or that's society or that's our peers who are chanting in our ears. And with the hive mind mentality that is being pumped into the masses right now, part of what our souls are trying to help us embody is a sense of personal sovereignty, self-discipline, and self-containment. And when I say those different words, what I want you to get from them is the understanding that, and the personal responsibility that, anything that is showing up in your life is a result of your internal energy makeup that is being channeled back to you by the people who are in your life, the circumstances that are in your life now. And until you take ownership of your own energy, you are disempowered. If you are in a relationship and you keep getting frustrated that your partner keeps behaving a certain way and your partner keeps making you feel this way and your partner doesn't listen to you, or they don't show you compassion, or they don't show you these things that you keep asking for, this is a disempowered position, because you are the only person who can determine how you receive the energy being sent to you from other people. You're the only person who can determine how you interact with how those energies are unfolding. These people that you are upset about, that you are looking at and you're saying, I want you to behave a certain way so that I feel good when I look at you, are simply channeling your energy back to you. And the more you can recognize that in all of your interactions, the more powerful you will be to actually alter the internal energy that's creating the scenarios that you don't want to deal with. And so as you begin to shift that underlying lens and you begin to recognize that the stories that are coming up and the way that your peers want you to behave and the way that society wants you to look, all of these are outside voices. All of these are meant to distract you from your own personal power. And so as you start to hold yourself accountable, and when I say accountable, I mean, it means, where are you right now? What is your present moment point of focus? What is your present moment point of power? And where are you sitting in truth? Because it's very easy to project ourselves into the past or project ourselves into the future and tell in hyperbole of the stories of what could be happening in those scenarios. It's very easy to state what is going on or overstate what is going on. And our work through personal accountability is to actually step back and zoom out and look at our life for what it really is. Because let's say, for example, if you are sitting here afraid to spend money because you're afraid you're going to run out of money, you're telling a story, but you have $50,000 in the bank and you actually wouldn't run out of money for another year, then you have to actually be honest with yourself. Are you projecting yourself into an imagined future out in the future that you're actually aligning your energy with? Or are you going to step back into your present moment point of power and establish a new reality and tell yourself the actual truth of the scenario of what you're going through? Many times when we have miasms and we have trauma and we have childhood wounds that have been imprinted on us, those childhood wounds operate subconsciously in the way that our energy is actually perceived by us externally, in our relationships, in the way that we work, in what we determine success to be. And so it's really important for us to step back and reevaluate where those stories are coming from. Why are we projecting ourselves into that story about money that we're going to run out? Maybe it's because our child self has a program that's still running that we need to actually be honest with ourselves about. This doesn't mean lie to ourselves, right? This doesn't mean look at our past and say, okay, I need to get rid of that past because it's not aligning with the future that I want. The only thing you can do is to bring your past and in your future into your present moment point of power and be honest with yourself about it, and then reframe that story so that you can realign with a future timeline that is actually more in line with who you want to be. When you do that, you're effectively recreating the past by bringing that past moment into your present. And so the more that you can practice doing that on a consistent basis, the more you can realize, oh, I'm telling stories right now about what something could be or what something looks like. And that's very common because society has frequencies pumped through us that are causing us to evaluate our scenarios based on these outside projections. And the more we look at the outside projection, the more we're establishing that outside projection as our present moment point of power. That then creates the future that they want us to create. And so as you understand the mind control programs that are at play, you start to see, why are they showing us these things? Why are they giving us this image? Why are they giving us this information? It's because they want to recreate our present moment point of power and retell history so that we can continue to be disempowered moving into the future. And so we really want to be able to, through understanding our interactions, be able to step into our own power and stop giving our power away to the externalized emotional states that are being pumped into us. So the more we can recognize what I'm experiencing, that's up to me. What my emotions are up to me. How I react is up to me. How I respond to the scary things that are happening in society right now, whether it's COVID-19 or it's the control regimes that are coming out, or it's relationship trauma that's coming up, or it's just the fact that these stellar activations are bringing up rooted trauma that's been a part of both the collective consciousness and our own personal consciousness. It is our work to be honest with those programs as they come up, so we don't just get lost in the energy stirring up and we suppress all of those energies. Because what people don't understand, that when you're feeling things, you're allowing those energies to flow and you're allowing those energies to clear. When they clear, they're no longer imprinted on the subconscious symbol codes that inform how your DNA brings information in from the quantum field. And so we need to clear those underlying programs so that we can actually take the information coming to us and translate it accurately from higher intelligence. And as we begin to do that, our DNA rebraids, our genes heal, and we begin to tap into higher sensory perception that allows us to bring in higher intelligence information and see through the veil that exists as part of the programs they've been pumping into us. So hopefully that gave you a little bit of an idea on how personal power starts to work. Personal power is all about accountability and self-awareness. You need to be working on all of those programs in every area of your life because they're pervasive. They don't just hit your relationships. They don't just hit your career. They hit how you talk to yourself. They hit the energies that come into you when you're doing any of those things. So the more aware you are of how those things flow, the more accurately you can begin to alter those little subtle details on how that energy is moving through you and then creating your experience. And through that, you can create better relationships and better careers and more fulfilling objectives for your life that are more in line with your divine being and your divine purpose and all of those different elements of who you actually want to show up as. Thanks for watching.